And we are recording again. Thank you very much for joining us on another episode of the Weeknight Mysteries podcast. My name is Yuras. I am here with my co-host, Rain, as always. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Feeling completely okay, although it feels like it's been a while ever since we did this, but not necessarily.
Another podcast? So basically what we're doing right now, we had to postpone a podcast like a couple of episodes ago, and then we're trying to chase so hard to get to the regular
To
posting
get the groove
routine.
back, basically.
No, not to get the groove back, to kind of keep posting on a Wednesday. So we're already recording on a Thursday, so there's no way this is going to come out on a Wednesday, so maybe it's going to come out tomorrow on a Friday. Yeah, I'm probably going to work on it today, and then tomorrow it should come out. And then hopefully the next one comes out on Wednesday.
And
then
we're back in schedule.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
we're back on schedule. Hopefully, because I mean, the easy thing to do would be to maybe skip out the one episode, but I kind of don't want to do that, especially since we have new listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the podcast. We appreciate you. Yeah, I've seen new guys, new guys and new girls like commenting and asking questions, and wow, it was pretty cool.
And it's always exciting. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about a case that no one really suggested. It's a case that I had in my list of topics for a long time. And I was contemplating about talking about this case for maybe like a couple of weeks now. And I think this is the week where I think it's a good time to discuss the strange disappearance of Leigh Occhi. I think that's how you pronounce her last name, Leigh Occhi. Leigh Occhi is a 13-year-old girl from America, from Mississippi, and she went missing more than 30 years ago, back in 92. Her disappearance is bizarre because after reading her, story on the Wikipedia, I kind of had, I didn't know what to think, realistically. But then once you go on Reddit and you kind of start seeing what the local people are saying, then yeah, you go back to the original story and all of a sudden things start not making sense the more you think about it. Like logistically, the storyline doesn't make sense, and then you might want to think that maybe, I don't know, the people that you initially would never expect to have something to do with Leigh's disappearance may have had something to do with her disappearance. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do I make sense?
You meant the mother, right?
Yeah, the mother.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. But come on, let us know about the details
Yeah,
before we
no.
talk about this.
Yeah, for sure. Let's jump into the details. So let me walk you through the information here, and then we can dissect it. Leigh Occhi, she was born in 1979 on August 21st. She was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, to Donald Occhi and Vickie Felton. Both of them were members of the United States military. Both of them had met a couple years previous to Leigh's birth in 1977 while serving in California. So I presume they both got relocated to Hawaii to serve in the military, and that's where Leigh was born. Now, 2 years after she was born, in 1981, they had divorced. So Donald, he relocated to Germany, and he remained in contact with Leigh, while Leigh had relocated to Tupelo, Mississippi with her mother, Vickie. So, Tupelo, for people who don't know, is a small town, small city. Not super small. It has 40,000 people there to kind of paint the picture. It's in the northern part of Mississippi, and it's famous for being the birthplace of Elvis Presley.
Yeah, I was so surprised about that. I was so excited because it's one of the. I mean, okay, I'm not really good at the cities and little towns of America, but this is one of those that I really never heard about. It was one of
Tupelo.
those random ones.
Tupelo, Mississippi. You never heard about Tupelo, really?
Nope.
Wow.
Is it famous? And
I
then
mean, it's the birthplace of Elvis. Right?
Yeah,
I
well-
can't believe you don't know this information.
I only knew it this morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, Elvis grew
need
up
to,
here.
You need to re-up on your
American geography, yeah,
It's
definitely.
terrible, dude.
Definitely.
Yeah, and another interesting thing about Tupelo, this city is really punching above its waist. It's like jumping high and trying to do a punch because it has Elvis Presley connection, which is kind of like, pretty big. And then on top of that, it has big banks that are headquartered in Mississippi. Apparently, in Tupelo, it is the smallest city, I think, in America to be the headquarters for a bank which has at least 10 billion in assets, something like that. So they have at least one big regional bank there that's kind of prevalent in Southern America, all across Mississippi, and it's headquartered in Tupelo. So I'm thinking Tupelo is punching above its weight, and I've never been there, but I will say there's probably some high-paying jobs in Tupelo. You could be working at a bank, so it's an interesting situation, I would say, because Mississippi, I've heard, is like one of the worst economically in America. It might be a great place, but economically, I think it's kind of like on the lower end of the American spectrum. But Tupelo feels like a cool city. Like, you would want to be there for a bit.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah,
Wait, is it Tupelo or Tupelo?
Could be Tupelo. Never really looked into the pronunciation. So,
Anyways,
let's jump to the disappearance. So, yeah, everything's happening in 1992. Leigh is now 13. Leigh had she had celebrated her 13th birthday just 6 days before her disappearance. So she's coming off of a birthday that she celebrated. Everything was happening on Thursday, which is August 27th, Thursday, in the early morning hours. This is the general story, and we will dissect it in a little bit. Allegedly, her mother, Vickie Felton, and at this point, as I understand, in the house in Tupelo, it was only Vickie and Leigh that were living together. Vickie leaves for work. It's a regular Thursday. She goes to work. She leaves the house at 7:35 a.m.
but for some reason, I read that this is the first time Leigh was completely home alone.
I've read that one as well, but there are conflicting reports about it because maybe let's wait for
Of course, yeah.
for it later on. I'll tell you why that may or may not be correct. So Vicky goes and she leaves the house. 7:35 a.m. seems like a regular time to leave for work, pretty early. Leigh was planning to attend an open house at her school that day, and her grandmother was supposed to pick her up and take her there. So, open house, do you know what that is?
Yeah, but I believe it's. I haven't experienced it before, but I believe it's some sort of like a thing where the school opens up for visitors and kids could like take a look around and have a tour or something.
So, I think it was for the kids' parents.
Oh.
Or like
together, basically.
or like grandparents. So I think what I understand is that Leigh was supposed to go there with her grandmother.
But when though? Midday?
I have no idea. I didn't run across this information. I would assume maybe like
9 or 10.
9 or 10, but the timeline is so like choppy here later on, so that's kind of hard to tell. But all I know is that Leigh's grandmother was supposed to pick her up at some point later on, presumably in the morning. Like, I mean, how late would the kid show? Maybe it's like open house, and it's like not regular school activity. So maybe like the teachers told everyone to gather at around 10 or 11.
I think that's the case, yep.
You know, because there's not going to be regular classes. So maybe that's why everything's kind of like not happening at regular school hours here. So at this time, Leigh's father, Don, he was already living in Virginia, and he had another family there. I don't know much about Don's personal life, other than I don't think he has any connection to Leigh's disappearance. According to Leigh's mother, Vickie Felton, and this is I only found this on one source, so you could. This is actually a Huffington Post. I read this on the Huffington Post. Huffington Post wrote that Vickie Felton told the media or something like that Leigh had slept in the same bed with her the previous night because Leigh was apparently afraid of storms. And so something to kind of like put here into perspective. 92 had that very violent Hurricane Andrew that hit United States, especially Florida. I know Miami was hit hard. Tupelo, Mississippi is like northern part of Mississippi, and as I understand, Tupelo is not necessarily a city that would get hit hard by storms, or at least not by Hurricane Andrew. I don't think it got hit, but I think the weather was kind of like stormy compared to the regular basis because of that huge hurricane that was hitting the country on the southern coast. So that's something to take into account. Apparently she was afraid of storms and had to sleep with Vickie the night prior, according to Vickie. And I don't know if anyone else could verify this. And yeah, later on, if we're gonna like scrutinize Vickie for her potential involvement in this case, I mean, who knows what really happened? Yeah, please step in.
No, I was just thinking that only police could know in this case, because if Leigh was actually sleeping beside Vickie on that same night, then I'm assuming the bedroom would be cleaner-ish, tidier. Bed was made probably. Wasn't slept in.
You mean they could somehow check Leigh's bed, and if Leigh's bed looks like it hasn't been slept in?
Probably.
Right? Mm-hmm. But it could be a case where like Leigh kind
always
of went back to her own bed at like 6 or something.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So I don't think that's a complete fact, you know?
Oh, not a fact at all. It's just an assumption.
No, I'm not saying nothing. Don't worry about why you got so scared here. I'm just saying. So, okay. So apparently Vickie goes to her work, to an office. I don't know what she does for a living. Do you have any idea? I don't know much. All I know about Vickie is that I read a little bit about it. She was trained in the military, and she was I believe, a professional interrogator. So this is a very intelligent person when it comes to, I don't know, mind games. Do you know what I'm trying to say here? Mm-hmm. Have you ran across like her work? I found nothing about her work.
All I know is that it's kind of located somewhere closer, around like
Yeah.
2 to 3 kilometers away.
Yeah,
Ish.
yeah, that's what I heard as well. Mm-hmm. But I guess none of us have any idea what she really was doing for a living.
No, I don't think it was ever disclosed.
Yeah, I don't know if she was like if the job was like a regular civilian job, or was it like connected to like some sort of like law enforcement or something like that. I mean, we have no idea, right? We just know that she goes to her office, and then she was notified by someone else, as I understand, or by the TV or the radio, something like that, that Hurricane Andrew was actually heading towards Tupelo. And she became worried because, Leigh, her daughter, who was scared of storms and had to sleep with her the night prior, is now alone in the house. So she wanted to check up on her. So she does end up calling Leigh shortly after arriving to work, and Leigh did not pick up. So this call was made shortly before 9 a.m. in the morning, and Leigh did not pick up the phone. So Vickie became worried, and then she drove approximately 1.5 miles back to her home, and then she found the garage door open. And this was bizarre because the garage door, when she left the house, was, I assume, closed. The lights were on inside of the house, which I guess it's normal because, Leigh was at the house, so the lights, I guess, would be open. And inside of the house, she noticed that there was blood smeared on the side of the wall. And naturally, I would say this is huge, like red flags, red alert, right? What do you think?
I would have ran out of the house and called the police immediately.
What about if there was your... What if
it's my daughter?
Yeah.
I still would have ran out. I would have called her name. So if I saw a pool of blood or like blood on the walls, I'd be like, okay, this is way too scary for me. I'd run out and I'd call the police immediately.
That's true. Like, I'm trying to right now put myself in that position.
Mm-hmm. Just imagine it's a completely normal day. You went to work, you went back.
I go back.
There's literally blood on the walls.
It's crazy red alert. Mm-hmm. It's crazy scary, in my opinion, to see that. I agree.
I'd be like, I'm not even gonna step in even further. I'll head out, call the police. They can handle it better than again. But then again, she was a military person.
She had the experience, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, this was another interesting thing that I found, and I want to ask you if you found it as well. And I've seen it mentioned maybe a couple of times. I know for a fact it has been mentioned on Morbidology. Yeah, morbidology.com made an article about Leigh's disappearance, and they mentioned a very interesting detail to me that I feel like if it's real, then it is kind of like a huge detail in this case, that around 5 minutes before Vickie Felton returned home and found, the scary scene at the house, the automatic garage door opener was activated, meaning that the garage door was opened 5 minutes before she arrived. So if that's true, then I don't know.
It's terrifying.
First of all, I'm immediately getting this question. How would anyone even know that it was opened 5 minutes before Vickie showed up? What is the proof? Because is this proof only like...
Maybe it closes after a certain period of time.
Like
after like few minutes, 5 minutes, it will automatically close.
No, so it opened up.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes before Vickie came back home. What do you think?
No idea how that works.
So what I'm trying to ask here is, how do we know that Vickie found it opened and Vickie isn't the person opening it? Because, like, how do we know that it happened 5 minutes before? Like, okay, do we have to completely just believe in Vickie Felton's timeline here to accept the fact that it opened 5 minutes before she arrived? Or is there some concrete proof that happened? Like concrete proof, I don't know, like a CCTV camera from across the street noticed it opening, or something like that. Because Vickie Felton, I'm not gonna, throw anyone under the bus here, but let's just say she's lying. She didn't find the garage door opened, and she is the one who's opening the garage door. I don't know why she would do, like why she would ever lie about it, but let's say she's lying. I don't think there's any way we could catch her making this lie, because the garage door, like, how would we know? She could just say, oh, I found it opened, and then you could check when it opened. Let's say the timestamp would be 8:55, and she could just conveniently say, oh, but I was here at 9, so yeah, 5 minutes before. Strange. So it's either, I don't know if you're even following me.
No, I agree with you, because the only thing that we could rely on in this case
Vickie's
is
testimony.
That's it.
Right? Who else?
I don't think there are any CCTV footages
or neighbor accounts, nothing. Right? So that's kind of interesting. Anyways, let's move on. So maybe it may have opened 5 minutes before Vickie arrived, or it may have not. I'm not gonna like blindly just go with it.
That's true, yeah.
I'm not about to do that one. Vickie started calling for Leigh, and she was going through all the rooms. So she was doing the opposite of what you would do. And in Leigh's bedroom, she found Leigh's favorite blanket crumpled on the floor, which, I don't know, doesn't seem like a huge red flag compared to the blood smearing, but according to Wikipedia, this particular fact made her super scared, and that's when she called 911. I'm pretty sure, if she is innocent and everything like that, she would have called 911 regardless. But for some reason, the crumpled blanket on the floor seems like a very triggering moment to kind of call 911. At about 9 a.m., Vickie made a frantic 911 call to the Tupelo Police Department. She requested immediate assistance at her home on a cul-de-sac on the city's west side, telling the dispatcher that her daughter was missing and that she found traces of blood inside of the house. There was also allegedly blood stains on the door frame. And we have an image of the house. I took a screenshot of the house itself. So by the looks of it, it's a one-story house. It has a small front yard. I think it has a backyard. I see that the garage door is on the front side. Well, naturally, I don't know who would have a garage on the backyard, but it seems like the garage door and the front door are kind of like close together. So I don't really understand why the garage door would be opened in this scenario. I don't understand that. Do you have any idea?
Maybe the culprit was trying to get a getaway vehicle?
But there was no vehicle.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't know that.
So they just opened the garage door
to check, maybe,
and left with Leigh.
Maybe
through the garage door.
Just assuming here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't really understand why it would all go down through the garage door. Just my personal take, because it seems like the front door is more of a, like, if you're a culprit, like, less attention attracting route.
Definitely, definitely. I'm also wondering if there was anything stolen, because if I was the culprit and there was a kid all alone inside a house and you would have done horrible things to the kid, might as well take something, no?
Yeah, so I found that, if I understand correctly, nothing was stolen.
And that's interesting.
Yeah,
So it feels like
personal.
an
Like,
attack just for Leigh,
just on the kid.
for some
Yeah.
weird reason.
So police arrived and they found additional pools of blood in Leigh's upstairs bedroom, as well as significant portions smeared in the hallway, bathroom, and on her bedroom door. So it's interesting because basically there's pool. Okay, so there's an upstairs bedroom. Oh my god. Okay, man. When I look at the house,
Wait, what?
yeah. When I look at the house, I would not say that it has an upstairs. But maybe I could see it actually. It doesn't have this kind of like.
No way, the door is too big. It's like a roof and then door. It doesn't look like it has an upstairs.
It doesn't look like it have an upstairs, but that's the information that I have here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's blood found in her upstairs bedroom, and there's significant portions smeared on the hallway and then in the bathroom. So it almost seems like whatever happened to Leigh potentially, involved blood and some sort of injury or something like that, like attack or something, anything.
It looks like she had been dragged, no?
So I wouldn't necessarily go that far to
Really?
say she's dragged. I mean, we don't know anything.
What about the smear on the walls? I'm just completely assuming, like, I'm wondering what actually happened and why
So
is
it's-
there blood everywhere?
So it's either because I'm thinking about a couple scenarios. It's either Leigh had some injury, she's alone at the house, she herself has an injury, she kind of walks out, like, puts her hands on the walls for stabilization, kind of smears some blood, walks towards the bathroom. I could see a scenario where there's a culprit with her in the house. She harms Leigh, or like the culprit, harms Leigh in her bedroom, and then the culprit is kind of like walking out, smearing some blood here and there, goes to the bathroom to wash up, something like that. So I could see how, basically, I don't know exactly how it all went down, but from my thinking, I think the starting point of the attack happened in Leigh's bedroom, and then whatever happened next probably kind of like, left the bedroom, and for some reason kind of like smearing was done on multiple occasions. It's a strange thing, in my opinion, to like smear so much blood, because if this is like your, I don't know,
Unless Leigh was...
statistical home invasion, you probably, if there's a killing being done, I would say, as far as I'm aware, the cases that I've looked at, everything happens in a certain area and then blood's not really found all over the place. It seems like in this particular case we have blood all throughout the house, which is unusual.
Maybe she was actually, dragged and she was panicking. Injured.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, that's a complete possibility.
But wasn't the front door opened without, like, forced entry?
Yes, you are completely correct. There was no forced entry found.
That's terrifying.
So this also kind of is interesting because we either have a couple scenarios. Either Leigh opened the door to the culprit.
No, I don't think so. I used to think so, but remember you mentioned that it seemed like the starting point was in her bedroom.
Yeah.
So would she open the door, run to the bedroom, and then the attacker would attack her in the bedroom? Or do you think she was already in her bedroom and then the attacker opened the door and attacked her in their bedroom?
I think both scenarios are possible.
You think so?
Yeah. Because if it was someone that she knew and trusted enough to open the door,
She would have went back to her bedroom. But then again, she would have had to entertain this guest or family member, so she wouldn't be in her bedroom per se. She could have...
It could have been a friend or an older, let's say, teenage boy. An older teenage boy.
Straight to the bedroom? Probably just living room, no?
I mean, maybe bedroom to hang out or something.
Maybe.
You know, who knows? Or it could have been, I don't know, someone from the neighborhood. I see...
A neighbor.
I see many
Different possibilities.
Different possibilities here, dude. I wouldn't necessarily like say that someone went into the house as Leigh was in the bedroom.
No, I'm just like trying to explore the possibilities.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? So, police looked at the bathroom and they found blood on the countertop and on the towel. So this looks like someone was trying to clean up the bloody mess. At least that's what police are saying. So something happened to Leigh, and then whatever happened next, someone tried to clean it up, but they don't clean it up fully, and they leave, according to Vickie, maybe 5 minutes before she arrives, because according to Vickie, 5 minutes before she arrived home, the garage door opens.
So you're saying they left via the garage?
Yeah, which is bizarre, because if you already entered, I assume, through the door.
Easily.
Yeah, because there's a timestamp of the garage door opening like 5 minutes before Vickie came back home.
Maybe the culprit had a car.
No, it's impossible, because the garage door opened. There's only one timestamp of the garage door opening. If the culprit had a car and, would even drive up and for some weird reason park inside of the garage, which that makes no sense. There's so much space in this cul-de-sac. Why would you park in someone else's garage? It's crazy. But if you would even do that, then there would be two timestamps. You opening up the garage, parking the car, and then opening up the garage and leaving. So there should be two timestamps of the garage door opening. Do you read me here?
Yeah, but there's no solid evidence to prove that the garage door was opened once or multiple times.
Well, there is proof that it opened once, as I understand. We just don't know if...
according to Vickie.
No. I think the proof is in the pudding.
Really?
Yeah, there is proof. There is proof that the garage door opened at some point, shortly, allegedly, before Vickie showed up. We just don't know if Vickie is actually the one opening it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think police came in and they found it open, as I understand. And there is like this automatic mechanism that tracks when it's opened. But if someone parked their car in the garage door, then there would be two timestamps. I mean, it's just my logic. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. For me, it's kind of like, I'm not sure if garage door keeps records of when it opens and closes.
Apparently this one does.
That's pretty odd.
There's this automatic garage door opener that's tracking when it's opening.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
New technology I'm not aware about.
Yeah, and this is 92 technology. Clearly none of us grew up with a garage. I mean, I definitely didn't, so I have no idea how that works, but apparently even in 92 you could already track the garage door opening
that's
times.
Crazy.
And I think it makes sense. Because think about it, for like security purposes of the house.
I don't know, I'm stunned because this is the first time I heard about it.
That there's a tracking of a garage. No, I think it makes sense. Honestly, I think for me it makes sense to have that technology. I'm just surprised back in '92 you already have that. That's kind of cool. Okay, so let's keep kind of moving here past this detail about the garage door. So Vickie, the mother, told police that she noticed several items were missing. So Leigh's reading glasses were missing, her shoes were missing, and her underclothes were missing. So to me, it almost
Underclothes.
Yeah.
What the what?
I
What is
have
it?
no idea. I was about to ask you what underclothes are. It's like maybe underwear.
And how come she was so specific about it?
Well, so these things that were missing almost seem like the things that Leigh could have been wearing at the time of her disappearance, you know. So maybe these things are missing because Leigh was wearing them.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I understand that. If it's very easy to see that her reading glasses were missing, very easy to spot that her shoes were also gone, but the
Underclothes.
underclothes, like, don't we have like multiple pairs of it? And
That's true. Like, I mean, honestly,
it's just oddly specific.
it's oddly specific. I mean, even if like a piece of my own personal underclothes,
Would you even?
I probably wouldn't
Yep.
notice, dude. If it was just like one piece, I wouldn't notice like ever, you know. So it is interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Inside the laundry hamper in the house, detective discovered a bloodied nightgown belonging to Leigh. So this is very bizarre to me. The more you think about it, the more it doesn't make any sense. So, you know what the nightgown is, obviously, right? Like, girls sleep in that thing, right? So it was bloodied from, I assume, an attack. But for some reason, it was in the laundry hamper inside of the house. What kind of culprit, home invader would you have to be to attack Leigh, remove the nightgown, and put it in the laundry hamper? Like, it makes no sense. You have any clues?
No, I'm assuming that the attacker could have. Maybe the attacker was already panicking and wanted to clean up the crime scene, and took a random piece of clothing from the hamper, wiped the blood up, and put it back in the hamper. It's odd, but that's the only way I could see it.
In the moment, not really thinking about.
The oddest part for me is that it was put back in the hamper.
Yeah, like, why would you do that? So the Tupelo Police Chief Bart Aguirre stated that because it looked like the blood had dripped down onto the nightgown, you would think that the injury had been above the neck, possibly.
Wait, drip down?
Yeah, so it looks
So it
like...
wasn't used as a rug.
No. It was used as a...
So Leigh was wearing it.
Yeah, according to police chief, Leigh was probably wearing it as she was attacked, and the blood dripped down. So
Okay, wait.
So yeah,
She was missing her glasses, shoes, underclothing, but the nightgown that she was wearing
during the attack
was there.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, the more this is chilling to me, because like now I got goosebumps. I legit just got goosebumps, because the more you think about it, the more it starts to make less sense.
And this nightgown of hers wasn't like torn apart, right? From the description, it seems
So
like it was
no,
completely okay.
Yeah, seems like it was okay.
Weird.
I'm telling you, man. The more you think about it, the more this case makes no sense. So there was also a pair of scissors that appeared to be stained with blood, and this is according to. One second. Give me a. Oh, this is according to morbidology.com. Again, morbidology.com is reporting that there was a pair of scissors that appeared to be stained with blood. A pair of scissors could have been used as an attack?
As a weapon of. Okay, so now I'm picturing this. She had her nightgown on, and this attacker probably held a scissor by her neck.
You know, I was gonna keep this for the later part of the podcast.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But I'm gonna go at it ASAP because I feel like I'm gonna forget. And I feel like this just made more sense in my brain. And I'm not saying this has happened. I'm just saying this is a lesser talked about theory that you may have not considered. And yeah, you know what? I have to go for it right now because I will forget. And I think it'll be a shame if I forget. Because it makes sense right now to me that there's a speculation, and this is not a wide speculation, it's just mentioned by a few people, okay, that Leigh may had committed self-harm. And she somehow, stumbled around after a failed attempt and left a bunch of blood, tried to clean her up a little bit. And I think the way things were left at the house would kind of like add up for me way more if Leigh was attempting self-harm, because this scissors I think could be something someone would use for self-harm. Now, the only thing that doesn't add up here, obviously, is police chiefs telling us that it looks like the injury was sustained above the neck. So I don't know who would ever try to do self-harm above the neck. So not neck. You're showing me the neck, dude. I'm talking about
No, I'm trying
above
to
the
think
neck.
about it because, yeah, if it's self
There's
harm.
no self-harm. We're thinking about the wrists. Let's be real here. We're thinking,
Yeah, that's
we're
my
thinking
first
about
thought.
yeah, wrists. But I could also see how, let's say it's an attempt gone wrong. You're with the nightgown, and you're just smearing blood all over the nightgown.
But didn't the police say that the blood dripped?
Yeah, they did say it looked like it dripped down, so that doesn't make sense. That's strange. I'm not saying this happened. I'm not saying that there was at all.
And where's the body? And where was she if she survived?
She stumbled around and went somewhere. This is, as I've said, let's not get married to this idea of this theory, because it's just a shot in the dark.
I think we're just trying to make sense of things.
Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to leave that. Anyways, let's proceed. The house showed no signs of forced entry, which is, once again, we talked about it already. A search party was immediately assembled, and missing person posters were distributed throughout the area. The posters described Leigh as standing around 5'3" tall and weighing around 100 pounds. I would say a regular, maybe even a little bit on the taller side, the 13-year-old girl. She had blonde hair. During the search, a helicopter scanned overhead while sniffer dogs descended on Tupelo. There was absolutely no signs of Leigh anywhere. Searches conducted around Tupelo, mainly in the wooded areas, found nothing as well. As the search continued, the blood found inside of the home was sent off to State Criminal Lab for analysis. However, it was 1992 technology, so they probably couldn't make as thorough of an analysis compared to nowadays, right? Leigh's father, Donald, immediately flew from, now it says Washington, so oh yeah, so he was in Washington, maybe I don't know where he was, but he was out of state, right? So this one source is telling me that he flew from Washington to partake in the search for his daughter. He had since remarried and had two other children, and actually they all flew down to assist him in his search for his daughter. He was giving emergency leave from his duty station, so I think he was still part of the military. He stated that he just wanted to find his daughter. He shared his belief that Leigh hadn't simply ran away and that something sinister had taken place. He said that, "I don't think she's alive. I'm just getting prepared for the worst." That's what he said according to Morbidology again. Meanwhile, investigators were trying to figure out when the last time that Leigh was seen alive, which I think is very important, like to kind of get the timeline here. And we do have the last time that Leigh had been seen alive, and that is the day prior, or let's say the evening prior to her disappearance, because at some point Leigh had arrived at a neighbor's doorstep at around 8 p.m. the night before. And then she asked if she could wait inside until her mother got home. So it was, I think, Wednesday. And because she was locked out of the house, then around 8:45 p.m., Leigh went to another neighbor's house and said that she was locked out as well. However, 15 minutes later, she looked out the window and said, "There's my mom," and then she left. Presumably when Vickie arrived home. So this is interesting to me because the night before she was locked out of the house. So what does that mean? Does that mean that she lost her locks to the house?
You meant keys?
Keys?
Maybe she never had a pair of keys.
Right. So, because it's interesting because earlier on it's mentioned that it was the first time that Leigh was left home alone. But now the night prior, she was locked out. So was she supposed to be left home alone the night prior already? You know? And I'm also thinking, if she's locked out, did she lost her keys? And maybe Vickie had a violent argument with Leigh over this? I mean, I'm just speculating, obviously.
This one, I have no idea.
What do you think? Is it a possibility even?
Potentially.
I mean, it's a possibility, right? The clues were few and far between, and in December, Vickie began running newspaper adverts asking for information regarding her daughter. So she is like trying to get to the bottom of it. So she is, doing stuff there. She also hired a private detective. Early the next year, she put forward a $5,000 reward for information about her daughter's disappearance. Vickie shared her belief that her daughter was still alive. She stated, "I'm completely convinced she's alive." This was back in 93, I think. It's interesting how she was completely convinced that she's alive. I wonder why would she say that? Because, I mean, maybe a grieving mother, she's trying to stay positive. Any ideas on that?
Definitely.
Anyways, this is where the strange things are starting to happen. Now we're going to talk about the strange things in this case. Leigh's father, Donald, said that he felt his daughter was dead the day that his ex-wife, Vickie, called him and told him that she was missing. His theory is that some bastard beat that child to death in that house. That's exactly what he said. Donald also stated that while searching for his daughter in Tupelo in September of 1992, like shortly after she went missing, he was told by several locals to look at her mother as a potential suspect. That would mean Vickie. And he commented, "I already was doing that. I don't know if her mother was involved."
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but you ran across this thing that the locals are.
Suspicious of Vickie?
Yeah,
Yes.
what did you find about the locals? I mean, it's been mentioned like in Reddit. I think in Reddit the locals came out and they were
Yeah, I
saying,
think I read the same thing that you have. The locals are very suspicious of Vickie and ask the police to look into her. That's pretty much it.
yeah, but I wonder why. I wonder if there's like some sort of.
I did read somewhere, and I can't remember for the life of me if this was an article, a YouTube video, or a Reddit post that said that somehow Vickie was slightly annoyed at times at Leigh's hyperactivity. Apparently,
Oh,
she had
really?
a lot of energy.
Okay, so that's interesting because what I found
Mm-hmm.
was that Vicky, according to Donald, Leigh's
The father, yeah.
he said that Vicky had like a temper.
Mm-hmm.
Like what am I trying to say here? Like a bad temper?
Fiery temper, yep.
Yeah. But he also said that Leigh, his daughter, was standoffish, had a standoffish temper because he himself was standoffish. And he said, she takes it up from me. So don't you think that this is a bit interesting because you have. Oh, on top of that, did you run into the fact that Vickie was described as a neat freak?
Really?
You
That
did-
would explain why she was so specific at the stuff that was missing.
Oh, that's true. Mm-hmm. That's true, and it would make sense to me because she had that military background.
Yeah.
So wouldn't she be like?
Keeping tabs on all the stuff in the house?
All the stuff there?
Potentially. Still weird, but maybe.
I mean, yeah, but if you're super strict about even like one piece of clothing item, that's kind of crazy.
That's true, and if she does the household chores like fold the clothes, I think naturally
She would notice
She
that
would notice,
something.
yeah.
Okay, I could see that happening. All right. So, yeah, but then you have, let's say, a neat freak, and then you have a standoffish teenage girl.
I also read
I could see problems.
and on top of that, I read a couple of articles, posts, whatever, I couldn't remember, about Leigh's hyper-ish activity.
Okay,
She
I
had
didn't
more
run.
energy.
I didn't run across that, but that's very interesting.
She wasn't diagnosed per se, but apparently the energy was a little bit on the higher side.
Damn. Okay, I didn't run into that one. So it just kind of like builds this narrative in my head that, man, something may have went down. Okay, so now let's talk about another person here. I'm pretty sure you're aware who we're going to be talking about. Barney Yarborough. This is Leigh's stepfather. This is the guy that Vickie Felton, Leigh's mother, married after she divorced with Donald. You know about this guy. You heard about him, right?
Yes.
So there was a speculation going around that he was abusive to Leigh. I don't know exactly in which way.
Wait, what? And then this guy is still like free?
Well, I don't know to which extent he was abusive, and it's only like speculation and rumors. I don't think there's like concrete evidence.
Okay.
But not allegedly, sorry, it's known that Vickie had recently separated from Barney at the time. So she had divorced again. So Barney would make him an ex-stepfather for Leigh. So he's an interesting character, and I think he plays a role. I don't know if he's responsible. I think he definitely plays a role because of something we're going to mention in a little bit. Barney was ruled out as a suspect after providing a substantial alibi and passing a polygraph examination. So I guess it's kind of like, okay, whatever. Police are saying that, he's not involved, but what happened on September 9, 13 days after Leigh went missing, was, I think, the most crucial piece of evidence in this case, obviously, because a package containing Leigh's glasses was mailed to Barney Yarborough, like the ex-stepfather, and Barney was actually living in the same neighborhood in Honey Locust Drive. You know about this, right? The
Yes.
eyeglasses were shipped to the stepfather.
This I find very interesting, honestly, because why was it shipped to the stepfather? So that means whoever the culprit was knew of Leigh's stepfather.
Yeah, and this is bizarre because 13 days later. So, okay, so what is the natural... Okay, first of all, let me kind of tell you more about the package, right? Before we kind of try to like make sense of this. So the package was postmarked from Boonville. Boonville is a town close to Tupelo. It's, I think, a little bit north, if I remember correctly. So it's kind of close. And Barney, the ex-stepfather, is originally from Boonville. And his family is from Boonville. So someone took Leigh's eyeglasses to Boonville and shipped them out to Tupelo, which is right there, just a short drive away.
Isn't it very suspicious?
Suspicious, and why would you put it to Barney? So I think the natural question in my brain, really the most natural question, is who would do that?
Someone who knew of Leigh and the family.
So I think someone who knew Barney, let's start off with that. Someone who knew Barney. So first of all, would Barney ship it to himself if he's responsible? Barney commits the crime, he abducts Leigh, he takes her glasses, he goes to Boonville, he ships them out to himself.
No, I don't think so, because he was cleared out by the police and he had a solid alibi. Now, my question is, would Vickie do that?
Would Vickie do? So I think, okay, so first of all, I'm not going to say she did it, but I say I could see Vickie doing it, because I will say this much. Vickie had recently divorced, so maybe bad blood. We don't know. We're just completely shooting in the dark here. I would just want to emphasize shooting in the dark here. We don't know what happened.
Don't hate us. We're just exploring possibilities.
Exactly, dude. And then I would say Vickie could send it. I mean, I'm not sure if she did it, but I could see scenarios where she would be sending it.
Yes, definitely.
You know who else I could see? Barney's enemies, if he had any. Right?
Okay.
Barney's enemies.
But these enemies you're talking about should be closer to them because they're not really living together. They're living separately. Barney and Vickie and Leigh. So if this enemy has some bad blood with Barney, he or she, they knew of the address. They knew of the time.
The time where they knew where Barney was living.
Or Vickie and Leigh. They also knew that.
Yeah, if they came in and, abducted Leigh.
And they also knew about the timing, about the fact that Leigh was completely alone.
And they would also probably be... There's no forced entry, so they may have even knew Leigh.
Yep. And Leigh would have trusted him.
That could send. So maybe like also Barney's family could send it?
Or Vickie's family.
Or Vickie's family? But why would Vickie's family send it, or Barney's family would send it? It's like so weird.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like so weird. Realistically, I'm thinking like just like really simply thinking, I think Vickie could do it. Or I could think Either Vickie could do it, or
A close friend, maybe, of the
Or-
family.
but like an enemy, like who's like, and okay, so let's say that. Then the next question is, why would you send it? Why would you send those glasses?
To tip off the police investigation.
In which direction? Towards Barney?
Away from Vickie?
Why? It doesn't go anywhere away from Vickie. In my opinion, it just goes directly to Vickie.
That's true.
Dude, like this goes, in my opinion, directly towards Vickie.
Why ship it though? Why not just leave it, I don't know, somewhere around the area?
'Cause,
That would
like, you don't
confuse
wanna-
police
You
more.
don't wanna be seen doing it.
Yeah, but like just throw it in like a garbage bin close by.
I mean, it's gonna get thrown in the trash. It's not even gonna be found.
Yeah.
You know. So
I wonder if there were any fingerprints though.
no, there's no fingerprints. So basically,
There should have.
So basically, what we have is that there was an envelope, and it was adhered with water, not saliva. So they tried to actually get some DNA, like, you know, because sometimes people will lick,
Just to lick it.
yeah, who lick a envelope. You know what I'm saying? But this time it was water, so it wasn't licked out.
Smart.
Yeah, so there's no DNA there.
Now I wonder if there were any fingerprints in the crime scene.
In the crime scene. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to something. Yeah.
Okay,
so
sorry,
they-
just a random question that popped out of my head.
No, actually, you're spot on, because so I've read somewhere that, like, yeah, DNA testing was done. Actually, let's get into it in a little bit because I will lose track. There is something real. Okay, we're back. Small break here. Technical difficulties. So let's go back into it. So yeah, let me just go through some information here. Tupelo Police Chief Sam Bart Aguirre stated that he felt that the glasses were mailed as a distraction. There was no ransom letter or anything like that came with those glasses. It was just the glasses. You would think if it was an actual kidnapping, you would have expected a little more to come along with that, which I think is rational. They'd been delivered in an 8-inch envelope addressed in block letters to B. Yarborough, like Barney Yarborough. The return address was the same as the mailing address. So, B. Yarborough. So I think block letters, isn't this like from like the movies? You know, like cutouts. You know how they would send
I have no idea.
but you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
like
You know what I'm talking
someone
about.
cut out a magazine letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, paste it all in together. Yep. Well, that's creepy.
That's
I
suspicious,
always
yeah.
thought it was just like,
It's not a thing.
yeah.
I think it's a thing.
Maybe it's just handwritten in capital letters. No.
Potentially. I don't know. I just assumed that it was those cutouts here.
What's
After-
the point? I'm so sorry.
Oh, there is no point. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? The point is to hide your identity.
No, I meant what's the point of sending the glasses back?
Oh, so yeah. I have no idea, but
And-
that's like a topic for a bit.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no. That's, I don't know what's the point of sending the glasses. It's like, I don't know what purpose it serves. Mm-hmm. Like it's
And it
just-
never happened again. Like,
No.
what about the underclothing and the shoes?
Yeah, they were never sent. Mm-hmm. I got no idea, man. Those glasses are weird. After Barney Yarborough passed his polygraph examination, Vickie was administered 3 polygraphs, and she showed deception in all of them. If you believe polygraphs, then you would believe that Vickie is now showing signs of deception.
Well, it's pretty weird that she failed all 3 of them, but at the same time, we can really never rely on them anyways.
Yeah, but she was a trained interrogator. So if she's a trained interrogator, wouldn't she kind of like maybe she would like use some
Manipulation.
techniques or something? You
Oh,
know?
well, she's trained as an interrogator. She's not trained to be on the other side of it.
Well, yeah, that's true. But she probably knows the process. She's been there before. In 2017, 20 plus, I think, years after Leigh went missing, Police Chief Bart Aguirre stated that Vickie Felton was still considered a person of interest, and he said that you can't eliminate her. There are still too many unanswered questions for Vickie, and I don't know if that is unusual for somebody to go off to work and say, "Well, I just left Leigh, but I'm going to call and check on her." Why check on her that soon after she just left her? Which I could see the point that police chief is making here.
I could see the point that Vickie did it. Why Vickie did it.
And why would that be?
There was a hurricane coming, and Leigh was afraid of storms, and
Storms. Yeah,
it
but
was coming in. It's her first time being alone in the house, and Vickie was concerned.
I read somewhere that some people are saying that you know about the storm
Days prior, yeah.
days prior.
I mean, it's communicated very well before it hits a certain area.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be like, oh, you just found out. But maybe because Leigh was, let's say, scared of them allegedly, maybe Vickie would want to call and make sure
Everything is okay.
she's okay and not scared. It being her first time being alone and all. I mean, I could see how someone does that.
Yeah, I could definitely see my mom doing that. If
Yeah, mine
yeah.
too, honestly.
Right? So,
Yeah.
and your mom was working somewhere closer to your home as well, right? So do you think she, at 8 a.m., would just drive back home to check up on you? If the weather is kind of like getting bad, she couldn't contact you.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think she has like work to do. It's not gonna go back
And
to
she
check up on
trusts
me.
that you're gonna be okay?
I think so. I don't think she would go back just check on me just because I didn't answer the phone call. It's weird. How many phone call like what if I'm just in the bathroom?
That's true.
Like one missed phone call. I call someone I miss, like there's a missed phone call. I never suspect something's bad happening. Like that quickly. Yeah, like why is Vickie rushing back? Was it just literally one phone call?
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm now thinking about it.
Why
I don't
is
think
she
my
rush-
mom.
Yeah.
I do think my mom would drive back if there were at least 5 phone calls that I missed.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I think mine as well. But like one phone call.
It's like whatever, and no need to be alarmed and just drive back.
Just yet you call like half an hour later.
Or you call again and again and again.
Yeah, like why is Vickie going back home so quickly? Do you think that she's like I don't know, like suspecting something bad to happen? Is there like some danger?
Honestly, it seemed like that day started off normal. Too normal to be suspicious of anything. Right?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
woke up, she went to work. Leigh was supposed to be all alone until, let's say, midday, when her grandma is gonna pick her up to go to the open house. Seemed like a regular day.
yeah, that's true. Doesn't sound like there's anything strange. At least in the beginning of the day.
Definitely.
It's just interesting that she's rushing back right now, while the day prior, Leigh was locked out until 9 p.m.
Yeah.
on a Wednesday. So it's like kind of
Wouldn't you, as a parent, would be more worried that your kid is locked out than in the house?
Yeah, I wish we had more information about that lockout.
Or the phone call?
Yeah, like how many phone calls were made, right? I agree, I agree. So Vickie Felton disputes that she had any involvement in her daughter's disappearance, and she has openly stated that she suspects a guy by the name Oscar McKinney Kearns, otherwise known as Mike Kearns, to be responsible and for the kidnapping. Apparently, this Mike Kearns, or let's say Oscar Kearns, was convicted in 1999 for kidnapping a couple and SAing the woman, and 9 months after Leigh disappeared, he had kidnapped a ninth grade girl, I think she was 15, from a Tupelo, that he had met through a Tupelo church. He essayed her in Memphis, Tennessee, but he never killed anyone. At least on paper, this guy never killed anyone, and everyone that he had abducted, somehow they ended up being alive. He would just abduct them and let them go. So that would be like a different outcome in Leigh's case, because Leigh's never came back if he was involved. So now the mom is shifting blame to this Oscar Kearns guy. Kearns was sentenced to over 8 years of incarceration for the first crime that he conducted shortly after Leigh went missing. So that, SA in Memphis of a 15-year-old girl that took place 9 months after Leigh went missing. So right after getting out of jail in 97, within a year and a half, he commits that other essay where he kidnaps a couple, and for that one, he gets sentenced to 20 years in prison. He is released from prison, I believe, in 2019. He is a free man in 2019, and then 2 years later, he dies in 21, and he never talks to police. Do you know about this guy? Did you look into him a bit?
Not as deeply.
I mean, there's nothing on him, honestly. I tried googling the guy, Oscar McKinley Mike Kearns, and there's not much information of the guy. You could only see a few of his pictures, and there's an obituary, but that's about it.
Yeah, so I don't know much about this guy. I briefly read about him, but I thought it's kind of like a far-fetched connection, so I never really bothered taking a bit more of a look into it, mainly because I was driven by this fact that whoever went inside the house was kind of let in, no forced entry, and if this guy was the one who did it, there would have been a forced entry.
Not necessarily, and this is why I think this Oscar and Kearns guy is interesting, because there is a little bit of a connection here. So Oscar Kearns was actually a Sunday school teacher at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church.
Jeez.
That's terrible, right? But the same place where Vickie and Leigh went.
Really? I never knew of this connection. That's crazy.
Oscar and Leigh rode horses together at the same stable in Tupelo off North Thomas Street. And I found it. Yeah, there's a stable actually very close to where Leigh was living.
Oh, yeah, I just remembered she loved horses.
Yeah, so the two of them were riding horses together, and he was a Sunday school teacher. at the same place where Leigh was going. So I'm pretty sure
It's freaking terrifying. I
they
just have
were
to say it.
aware of each other.
Maybe, yeah, even.
And the mom is suspecting him heavily.
Yeah, it changes the whole thing.
I mean, I'm not gonna say like that he did it or nothing like that, because let me tell you more information. Yeah, less than a year.
But then that means that he also knew of the stepfather.
He never talked to police about Leigh's case. So I don't have any information that he was ever ruled out.
But that means he also knew of the stepfather enough to go to Boonville,
And then yeah.
Leigh's glasses back.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Would this guy ship the glasses back?
And if yes, does he know the address?
Does he know the address?
And why not just send it to Vickie?
And he looks like a predator, but all the time that he was a predator, well, we only have 2 documented cases. Who knows how much damage this guy did? You know what I mean?
It's really terrifying.
It's like, yeah, school teacher. Man, I wouldn't put it past this guy to have gotten away with some of these crimes.
Yeah.
So who knows if he did more crimes, right? But this guy, he looks like a predator, not necessarily like, at least on paper, doesn't look like a killer. And like what happened to Leigh seems so kind of like personal, like
yeah,
glasses,
it feels like it.
Glasses being shipped to the ex-stepfather's house. Like it's so weird.
Yeah, it kind of feels a little more, I would say, angry. I can't think of a better word right now to how to describe it.
Yeah.
If it's not self-harm, then it feels like she was beaten up. Maybe because she was struggling by then. I have no idea, but
yeah,
it seems more like there's a bit of anger and violence.
I wonder what the mom thinks about Vickie Felton. You know, if she's really innocent. What does she think about? Would Oscar Kearns send Leigh's glasses to Barney's place? Barney? Why Barney?
Yeah, it's so random.
I'm saying, why Barney?
And that means he knew of the family.
Was he like beefing with Barney? You know? Anyways, man.
And is he from Boonville?
So this guy, I think I don't know where he's from, but he's a school teacher in Tupelo, so I presume, and he rides horses in Tupelo, so maybe he's
probably a local, yeah.
Yeah.
So would this local go to Boonville, drive there, ship something back?
And send it to Barney's place?
It's kind of oddly specific.
Yeah, I just don't see why shipping out the glasses to Barney's spot. What's that all about? Anyways, so now I'm gonna tell you a few more recent developments. What's happening? So there is new DNA technology that police are trying to use in order to solve this case. So in 2022, authorities. Well, they said that they hope that advances in the forensic science will shed some new light on the case. They also said that using the limited evidence, which included a bloody nightgown, police were able to develop a DNA profile of Leigh, but technicians at the time found no blood, body fluid, or skin cells that were foreign to the house.
What about fingerprints? There must be some fingerprints.
Nothing, apparently. I mean, I'm sure we would have known by now, right? So there's nothing. As I understand, there is nothing foreign to the house, meaning that it's only people who live at the house or maybe lived previously. So this literally, if this is correct, then it's literally just Leigh,
Vickie or the stepfather.
Or Barney DNA.
Or no, not even her biological father, because he's not a household character.
I
let's say.
think he's also like cleared out.
Definitely. I'm just trying to expand our.
And Barney's cleared, I think, and Barney wouldn't ship the glasses to himself, so it only really leaves Vickie and Leigh's DNA. Kind of bizarre. Anyways, last year, October 27, both parents have legally declared Leigh dead, so she has been only legally declared dead last year. And Vickie out there, she was talking to the media, and Vickie was saying some interesting. She said something interesting. This is exact Vickie's quote from October, like last October. She said, "You hear about cases all the time where years later something finally comes up or someone comes forward and the case is solved." And then she said, "Maybe she had amnesia or someone abducted her."
That sounds oddly cold.
Amnesia, but what's with the blood if she had amnesia? She self-harmed and developed amnesia?
Yeah.
Like, is this what she's saying? How is amnesia an explanation?
I don't know. I kind of want to. Maybe there's a YouTube video about this particular interview. I kind of want to see what the way she said it.
The way she said it, I don't think there is.
Yeah, because it sounds really cold. And
yeah,
as a parent who would legally declare their kid dead, that seems really painful. Like really painful.
Really painful to kind of
just be like, maybe it's just amnesia.
I don't think she said it that way though.
Maybe there's more emotion to it.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a bad voice actor, Like I didn't made it sound like she's emotional.
Maybe it's just colder on paper.
Yeah, that's true. But we do have a video though. You asked for a video.
Yes,
we have a video. This is a new thing we're gonna do on the podcast. Never before tried, and this could sound like absolute garbage. So bear with us. I'm gonna, on my tablet where I read my notes, I'm gonna play a video. This is breaking news. 3 months ago, January 30th, we have activity in Leigh's case. Red alert, we have activity.
Make sure we're not going to get copyrighted though.
No, of course not. I repeat, red alert, we have activity.
Why breaking news? Why red alert's been 3 months ago? So it's basically old potatoes.
So I'm playing the new developments in the case. And I'm telling you, this could sound so bad because we're not even gonna edit this into the podcast. I'm literally just gonna play this thing. It's probably gonna spill over all over the place.
For our listeners, might as well just leave a link in the description so they can watch it themselves.
Yeah, I'll leave it, but we're gonna also react to it because I want your reaction. I'm like messing up wires. Everything's gonna like go. There's huge chances we're messing this up. But I wanted to test it out. Red alert, we have this development.
News begins now with breaking news.
There are two breaking news stories we're following on WTVA 9 News at 4:30. The first is in Tupelo, where there is a heavy presence of federal and state law enforcement in a neighborhood behind the West Main Street Walmart. And they may be there because of a missing person case that goes back more than 3 decades. Let's go live to WTVA's Jake White, who's in that neighborhood, to show us what's going on.
Well, Tanya, I'm off of North Foster Drive next to this drainage ditch here, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. And I'm going to zoom in on what we're seeing right here. So what you're seeing coming towards me right now is a crime scene unit vehicle. You can see a crane right there. And on top of that, you can see people digging by this drainage ditch. Now, plenty of law enforcement vehicles, some people walking around wearing shirts that indicate that they are with FBI or MBI. That is the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. We've also seen dogs that appear to be looking for something. What that something is, we don't know right now. Law enforcement is not saying, but what we can say is that heavy law enforcement presence is next to the home where Leigh Occhi lived. She's the 13-year-old 13-year-old girl who disappeared from her home in late August of 1992. This teenager has not been seen since. Her parents late last year went to court and had her declared legally dead. Tupelo police have never closed this case. Now, as we come back live, we do want to stress to you that we don't know if what is happening, what we're zoomed into right now, has anything to do with Leigh Occhi's disappearance. So we do want to stress that. All we can definitively say is that they are here next to where she used to live back in the early 1990s. Of course, we'll stay on top of this and let you know if there are any new developments to this story. Live here in Tupelo, Jake White.
Okay, so we just listened to a news report from 3 months ago. We have a search that is taking place in the ditch close to where Leigh Occhi was living in the early 90s.
Why?
So they came back 30 years, 3 decades later to search a ditch. What were they searching for? And it has been confirmed ever since that it was in fact related to Leigh's disappearance. I don't know. What do you
I
make
wonder
of
what
that?
tipped them off.
Yeah, why 30 years later? Something very specific.
And why so close to home?
Yeah, so there hasn't been any more information about this particular search, but I kind of wanted to share it on the podcast because I feel like it's very important. So I also took a few screenshots. I'm going to show you the screenshot really quickly. As you can see, I took some images. There's an image with red arrows, and the red arrows are pointing to a ditch. I believe this is the ditch that they have been searching at. I'm going to be sharing this also on the YouTube channel. So we have, the cul-de-sac, and to paint you a better picture, like Leigh's house is literally at the end of the cul-de-sac, and the cul-de-sac, after it ends, there's just kind of like a huge ditch, not a huge ditch, but a long ditch. So what would they be looking for there? Like Leigh's body
So you're saying she...
was dumped in the ditch? Is that what law enforcement is trying to find out?
Maybe. I'm just wondering what tipped them off.
Yeah, so many years later. And I know they still consider Vickie a suspect.
Honestly, at this point, I kind of understand.
Yeah. That Vickie is the suspect? Or that they are searching?
That Vickie could potentially know more than she let on.
You think so? So
I didn't want to.
yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. So I went on Reddit and I kind of wanted to get the general feel. And when you go to Reddit, the general feel is very anti-Vickie. The whole town apparently suspects Vickie to be responsible. So I don't know why, but I guess there was constant abuse happening in that house.
Maybe. And also the fact that, there's a lot of things that are pointing towards her.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, come on, she's a mom. I don't think she could have done it. And I feel like, honestly, my mom would go home if there's a storm and I'm all alone. But then again, the more we talk about it, just one missed phone call.
Just one missed phone call, yeah.
It's kind of getting weird when the night prior, Leigh was locked out.
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah, we don't know if Vickie knew that she's locked out.
Yeah. Also the fact that there were no foreign substances found in the home. And the fact that Vickie was a neat freak, basically.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming the house was spotless. And for a house that's spotless, not one foreign anything was found. Like from a stranger, basically. How easy it is to
Yeah.
to
Find
shed
something.
yeah.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Honestly, it was all. I found another interesting thing on Reddit. Like someone really worded it pretty nicely. Why they suspect Vickie a little bit is because just the time frame. There wouldn't be enough time for someone to come to the house when Vickie left at around 7:50, then kill Leigh, attempt a cleanup, and leave before Vickie came back home at 8:45. All of this while a hurricane is going on. Who comes into a house and kills someone, then attempts to clean up the scene? Why clean it up? And I get it. I completely get this sentiment. Why clean up the scene? That didn't make too much sense to me, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Also, for me, there are also some reasons why she maybe didn't do it. One of which is she was very active. She even hired a private investigator. Why would you hire a private investigator in yourself?
Good point.
And she was very vocal about it. She was out there talking to the police. Why would you implicate yourself? And then at the same time, if this was intentional from her, why choose that specific day knowing that someone from your family would pick up Leigh later on in that day?
Oh my god, yeah, that's... So it would be an accident. I think if Vickie is involved, I think it would be an accidental killing, not a purposeful killing.
It seems so, and what really convinces me that it was her, and maybe I'm wrong here, was the fact that the crime scene was cleaned up a little bit. And then
I think it's Vickie trying to clean her up a little bit
and then
before, yeah.
Yeah, she's a neat freak. And then the fact that the nightgown was in the hamper, the bloodied nightgown, it screams more of a domestic thing. Like, if you're someone else going in the house, harming a child, you would immediately go out. You wouldn't like wipe the... Maybe you're gonna clean up a little bit, but you're gonna leave the bloody things in there. Are you really gonna put a nightgown in the hamper for someone to do the laundry?
Yeah, why would you do that?
So yeah,
Oh my god,
that's
man.
my take.
Oh my god, man. I just had an idea about this case. Okay, so there was another comment on Reddit that was not defending Vickie, but just basically saying why they think Vickie didn't do it. Why it wouldn't make sense for Vickie to be responsible. And this person, blah blah blah, I'm not gonna mention any names, but on Reddit they're saying that, and why call Leigh then come home so quickly? Wouldn't Vickie have looked less suspicious if she just came home after work and Leigh was missing? That's a larger window of time. Or if she called multiple times, then went home on her lunch again. So basically, this person is saying that it probably isn't Vickie, because Vickie is only suspected by law enforcement to be involved because she came back so quickly. If she knew that Leigh was dead, she wouldn't have came back home or missing. She wouldn't came back home so quickly if she knew, if she is really responsible and she knew that she's not gonna find Leigh at the house anymore, because she knows Leigh's already like out the house. Maybe she transported her body earlier in the day or something, right? If she knew that, why would she go so quickly? Why would she give herself such a short time period? And
That's
it would
true.
be so. And
And
you know
why
what?
not just let the grandma find the crime
And
scene?
I was thinking, and this is what hit me. The grandma was.
The grandma did it?
No.
Okay.
The grandma was supposed to show up at the house at some point. That's why Vickie had to rush.
She was protecting the grandma.
No. There was enough evidence at the scene that would have implicated Vickie. She had to go back home to clear up just enough to not.
Why go to work in the first place?
So to build some sort of an alibi, to have something. Because if she never went to work, then she has nothing.
That's it.
She has nothing.
Do you think that's why the crime scene was
That was a rushed thought process
a
from the
rush
evening.
attempt to clean it?
Yeah, Leigh was last seen at 9, so whatever happened to Leigh, if Vickie is responsible, happened after 9 p.m. on Wednesday, maybe at the night. She had maybe the whole night to think about it. This was just a rushed effort. Crazy rushed effort.
Okay, that's crazy. I wonder how fresh the blood was when the police came in. That would have been...
Oh, dude, this is a good one.
Yeah.
But then if she's gonna clean up, why clean up halfway? Maybe she cleans up halfway because she realizes at some point she's cleaning up. At some point she's cleaning up, but she notices, man, I can't clean everything up because man, I just can't, man, just too much blood and it's just, I don't have enough time. It's just gonna look weird. I'm just gonna look so suspicious. She's thinking what to do, and she's like, you know what, I have an idea. I'm gonna tell them I went to work. I came back, found the garage door open.
Or maybe she would look more suspicious if Leigh just disappeared without evidence, and if the police shows up and investigates and sees traces of blood somewhere, because they would always find
Oh
something
yeah, good point. Oh man,
to make it basically a cover-up.
Yeah, oh man, dude. Okay, so I will say I find Vickie extremely suspicious.
But then again, why would she hire a private investigator on herself?
Well, honestly, for the same reason why she would send the glasses to her ex-husband. It's a clunky move, and she's thinking she's smart, but she's just out here doing some clunky stuff that's like not really like, it's just another clunky decision after the fact. Like, because who else would send the eyeglasses to the ex-father? Vickie, I could see Vickie doing that. So I think it's a clunky decision after clunky decision after clunky decision. I think the whole thing is clunky, but she got away with it allegedly. We're not saying nothing, but I'm suspecting that if she did it, then she also made a bunch of clunky decisions, and she just kind of like somehow managed to like get out of there unscathed. I don't know how. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'd still give her a little bit of a benefit of a doubt.
Oh yeah,
for
me
a
too. Me
grieving
too.
mother.
I'm definitely, and I'm definitely not saying it's 100%. But I'm saying, I mean, I don't know, just the information
All
that
the
we
points
have.
are leading towards her.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
And the fact that there are no foreign anything in the house except out of the ordinary, basically.
And that one as well. Yeah, that's
It's
not
crazy.
Good. It's crazy.
And it's pretty sad because while we're talking about it, we're mainly focused on the facts. But
Yeah.
Leigh was an innocent 13-year-old
13-year-old girl. That's what we want to know. Want to know who's responsible, who did it, who did it. So
Oh, wait, by the way, I just remembered. Did you know that she had a boyfriend?
no,
Wait, what?
Leigh had the boyfriend.
Yeah, but he was a long distance boyfriend. Couldn't remember the details. I thought he knew. And basically, they are always calling on the phone. Always. Every day. I can't remember much of the details, but apparently they're both not as outcast at schools, basically. A little bit. So they're always excited to go home and talk to each other for a little bit via telephone. And then that little boy, 13-year-old as well, I believe, went back home on the day that Leigh disappeared, called her immediately, and then the mom picked up, Vickie, and just made an excuse about how Leigh couldn't come to the phone right now, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't really interrogate the boy as much.
Wait, was this happening after, like, on the same day that Leigh disappeared?
What do you mean?
Like that the boy called her.
Yeah,
But this is probably in the afternoon after school.
after school, definitely. He always calls,
when
apparently.
police searches were already going down and Vickie was like, oh, she's not here, can't talk to you right now.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
They never really investigated the boy. I did read.
I mean, I don't think the 13-year-old boy would do
No,
it.
but you must know something. Like the general vibe of the household.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
because probably Leigh told him everything.
Basically, yeah. So sorry, I forgot about this.
No man, this is a
little-
good detail. I don't know why no one mentioning this one. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. So I don't know what to think about this one. It's a strange case.
I do think that Vickie might need some more investigation from the police.
I think they're doing it. Look, 3 months ago they're digging
That's true.
they're digging out the whole place.
They really couldn't find any evidence against her, huh?
I mean, we don't know what's
The
going to
concrete.
happen. Right now, we don't have any information on the results of the last dig, so maybe that will, have something.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe there's something there.
And maybe Vickie is completely innocent and
Yeah, maybe.
someone else did it. But whoever the culprit was, I hope he or she will get caught and...
Yeah, me too, man.
And wherever Leigh is at, if she's still with us or not anymore, I hope she's in peace.
Yeah, me too. That's the best we could hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good podcast. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking around. We will catch you on the next one.
As always, let us know what you think. And if you have any case suggestions whatsoever, feel free to leave a comment, send us a message. We'll try our best to read it and accommodate you.
Yeah, for sure. We always love that. And we will talk to you very soon. Take care of yourself.
See you.
Bye.